everyone, Greg here from Carid.com. Welcome back to the shop. Today, I want to share with all of you a great bolt-on performance part for all of you 6th Gen Camaro SS owners searching for affordable and performance-proven long tube headers. They are built and designed right here in the USA, and these are BBK's long tube headers for all 16 to 2020 Camaro SSs. So if you own a 6th Gen Camaro SS, you already know that the LT1 V8 stuffed under the hood is a hell of an engine, but that doesn't mean that you can't squeeze some more power out of it. Installing a set of long tube headers is going to improve the exhaust flow, and the byproduct of that is increased power and torque. Well, the team at BBK has been manufacturing and designing performance-proven parts for decades, and these long tube headers are no exception. And also, compared to other long tube headers available on the market, they're a great value. You can pick up a pair of these headers for only $600, and BBK even includes all of the new hardware and gaskets. These BBK long tube headers are going to be manufactured using 16-gauge steel tubing, and the ones that I have with me today are coated in a very attractive nickel chrome finish. Now, it's worth noting that this nickel chrome finish does look fantastic now, but they do tend to discolor over time due to high engine temperatures. Now, if engine bay appearance is important to you, BBK also offers this exact same long tube header and a ceramic finish that will stand the test of time. But let's go ahead and move on to the engineering that creates all of that power and torque, starting with the primaries. Now, the two most important features of any header primaries are going to be their diameter and length. BBK uses 1 7/8 inch diameter primaries for the largest exhaust volume possible. They also use a full-length primary design, which creates unrestricted and balanced airflow for increased horsepower and low-end torque. Now, besides just the tubing, the other crucial aspect of any header is the thickness of the flange. Too thin and it can easily warp and then cause an exhaust leak right at the cylinder head. Now, to prevent that, these BBK headers use a thick 3/8 of an inch flange, and they even provide you with new gaskets and hardware for a perfect seal. Now, speaking of power gains, BBK does not have any dyno results for these headers, but expect to see an increase of around 15 to 20 horsepower and torque, as well as an extra throaty exhaust note. Now, even though BBK includes new gaskets and hardware with this kit, you will need a few other essentials to get this installed. Now, the original catalytic converters are connected to your factory exhaust manifold, so you're going to need to replace them. BBK offers high-flow cats that will bolt directly to the collector, which will include the O2 bung. Now, speaking of the O2 sensors, with these long tubes installed, the factory O2 harnesses are not quite long enough to reach, so BBK also offers O2 extension harnesses for both manual and automatic transmission cars. Make sure that all these items are on your shopping list before you attempt to make the installation. Speaking of the installation, guys, expect to break out every single tool in your toolbox and set aside at least 4 to 6 hours to get these installed. There will be cutting and welding required to successfully get these bolted up, so make sure you're prepared with all the appropriate equipment. Now, it's certainly more involved than your average exhaust upgrade, but this is still completely doable in your own garage. Now, things are going to start in the engine bay with removing parts like the intake system, engine covers, exhaust manifold heat shields, and then spark plugs. Now, the goal here is to not only gain access to the factory exhaust manifolds, but also remove anything that will get in the way. Now, from under the car, you then need to go ahead and disconnect the factory O2 sensors, unbolt the catted down pipes from the mid pipe, and then remove the steering shaft to gain further access. Then it's time to cut. Now, using a tape measure or a straight edge, mark the factory pipe as stated in the instructions and cut them using a reciprocating saw. Now, once all of this is done, there are a few other miscellaneous items, and then you can finally unbolt and remove the factory exhaust manifolds. Now, getting the new ones installed is easiest from the bottom up. Slide the new driver's side and passenger side headers up from the bottom of the car, and with some help, have someone up top thread a few bolts in to hold it in place, and then they can be torqued down later. With the header secured to the cylinder head, you can now unbolt and bolt up the new high-flow cats and mate them to the factory X-pipe. For this step, it is recommended to weld them together. Now, if you don't have a welder, a set of clamps will work just fine to get it down to a qualified muffler shop. With the new exhaust intact, it's time to then retrace your steps and put everything back together, then fire it up, hit the road, and start feeling some more power and sound out of your Camaro. Well, everyone, that's going to conclude my review of BBK's long tube performance headers for all 16 to 2020 Camaro SS models. So if you've been searching for a performance-proven long tube header that's not going to break the bank, head over to Carid.com right now to check out these great BBK headers for yourself. And hey, while you're there, make sure to check out all the other fantastic performance parts and accessories that BBK has to offer. And as always, I'm Greg from Carid.com, and I'll see you guys next time.